What's up, MVDB here, episode 9 of MVD Speaks, and we're talking optimizing our inner dialogue. I'm still on Meerkat. I'm going to install Periscope pretty soon again. I'm optimizing my phone so that I can be on Periscope and Meerkat at the same time. Anyway, let's get to it. So optimizing your inner dialogue, right? It's super important, but why? Because it's something, that can either kill you, literally, or that can make you rich. It's the difference between being in a depressed state or, living the life you want. And it's two extremes, but it's really all about your inner dialogue. Why? Because 90% of your thoughts are unconscious, and they're most of the time, and they're 90% negative. Studies have found that your thoughts, that most people have 90% negative thoughts. And so, if that's what we have, if that is what makes us live, then that's the most important thing that we can have. It's our thoughts. So that's why it's so important to master your inner dialogue. Right? It can make you a millionaire, or it can make you, people are killing themselves. And it's only because their thoughts are having a very negative impact on their lives, And there's a certain amount of things that you can do, and that's what we're going to discuss. Now, so those people, let's say that most of the people that are in a depressed state is they don't know what they don't know, right? They don't know that they're in pain. They don't know that there's a certain way of living or of eating that can alter their states. There's a certain amount of way of thinking that you can do. There's certain tricks that you can do. So you don't know that you don't know something. Now, you gotta get out of there as fast as possible, right? Because that is what kills people. So what you want to go to is that you don't know, you know that you don't know something. Now you know, right? We all have a certain amount of things in our lives that we don't know, that we know that we don't know. And that's really where you want to be, so that you can shine a light on it and start improving that, right? So now you know that there's certain things that you don't know. Now, how do you go from knowing that you know something? Is that, for instance, you write it down, or if there's something in your life that makes you unhappy, you investigate it, right? You think, what am I responsible for? Where can I alter that state? Where can I improve that? And then you go from knowing to knowing. You study a certain structure. You connect yourself to a certain doctrine, to one doctrine, right? Not a million, one. But you know that that's not the only truth. It's a whole different thing. But so you start studying, you start investigating, you get out, you know that you know now something. That's conscious, that's still conscious, so it's still going difficult. And then eventually, after hard work, 10,000 of hours, right, I think it's in the book of Carol Dweck, Mindset, which is an amazing book. And a lot of other books out there. I think The Mindful Athlete as well. Just 10,000 hours is what you have to put in. Now, if you know that, and you can visualize the amount, the state that you being, being happy and living the life you want, and that only takes 10,000 hours, I'm up for that. I don't know about you, but I'm up for that. So that's when you go to unconsciously to knowing, unconsciously knowing. So it becomes a second habit. a second nature. And that's where you want to be, right? That's where Miyamoto Musashi, the samurai, where all the greats are. They've trained so much that it's ingrained in their nervous system. And that's where you want to be, right? So those are the stages. Going from not knowing something, not knowing that you don't know anything, which is super dangerous, to going second nature, to go to unconsciously knowing something, right? Now, before we start optimizing our inner dialogue, there's two things that I find that have to happen. The first thing, and this is something that I'm going to keep repeating, right? And that's your why. What's your why? Why? Because, if you don't know what you do it for, then there's a very high risk that you might fall from knowing that you don't know something again to not knowing that you don't know something. And as we've seen, that's a very dangerous state to be in, right? And so your why is really what keeps you going, is what gets you up. And in the face of difficulty, in the face of fear and failure, what keeps you going, because you can visualize it, because it pushes you or it pulls you, right? If you want to read, I've posted an article on Medium at Coach MVDB, at Coach_MVDB, where I talk about how you discover your why. So if you want to, I can't, I'm trying to get these videos not too long. 15 minutes, 18 minutes is like the most that I want to do this. I know you're busy, so there's a lot of other things that you could be doing. So, but if you want to know how to discover your why, I suggest you check out my article on Medium, right? So once you got your why, there's a second thing that has to happen, and that's taking care of your body. Why? Simple. Your body is your mind, right? If you don't take care of your body, your mind will start to degrade, right? Because your mind is inside your body. And if you have a shitty body, guess what? You're going to have a shitty mind. And that means eating whole foods, organic, as much as possible, and getting your fats in, because your brain can't remember a certain amount of fat, but it exists of. Does anybody know, Meerkat, how much percentage of fat our brains exist of? Was it 40? Was it? I can't remember. By the way, I can't see any comments. So if you're commenting, super cool, but not seeing them. So I have to check that out. I don't know why that is. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Okay, so the fats, right? So your brain exists, 30% of fat, let's say. I totally forgot. Anyway, so you got to get your fats in, and your brain is soaked in water. It's because of the water that the neurons, can connect, and they can create neural pathways. So guess what? If you're eating shit and if you're drinking shit, then your mind is going to be shit. Right? Simple. So make sure that you, one, you know your why, and two, take care of your body so your mind can do the rest. Okay? Now, here's to optimize your inner dialogue. And as with everything, I'm telling these things here. So you can know certain things. You can know certain things. But if you don't do anything with it, it's not going to happen. So how do you optimize? By doing. And so here's an action step that I want you to take with. And I'm going to tell you, it's a challenge. But I swear, if you nail this game, if you nail this, you will thrive. You will have the best life you will ever have. You will live the life you want. It's not going to happen overnight. but you will. So this game, 7 days. 7 days, write this down. 7 days. You try to never have any negative thoughts. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have negative thoughts. I didn't say that. You just, because 90% is negative thoughts, right? So you're going to have negative thoughts eventually. But once you notice it, once you notice that you're thinking like, man, again, this is only what happens to me, I'm shit. You say, no, stop. You say immediately, you say stop. You gotta have that courage, you gotta have that discipline to say stop, no. And then you reform, you repeat that statement, but positively. So for instance, you say, okay, well, you know what, things are not going so well, but I'm doing my best, and I'm gonna try to not make that happen again. So for instance, let's say you had an accident with a car, and you said, oh man, I knew it. This only happens to me. I'm shit. I'm a bad driver. I'm the worst. You say, stop. Fuck. Stop. What the hell are you doing, man? I mean, you know what? Yes, I made a mistake. Next time I will drive only 50 miles an hour. I will be more careful. And you know what? See, I'm doing pretty good. I'm talking good to myself right now. This is good. So try to be positive. Every negative thought. Now, here's the thing. Here's the difficult thing. Once that you've noticed that you had a negative thought, you got to start all over again. And that's the difficult part. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I've played this game more than I can count, and I don't think I ever went to 7 days. Now, here's the beautiful thing, is that if you keep repeating this game, eventually you will have tried so many times that you become so good at it, right? Because I was like thinking about, what am I going to talk about? And I thought like, okay, positive thoughts. And I tried to think about a negative thought, about a negative thing. But I just couldn't come up with something. Why? Because I've been practicing way too much. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have negative thoughts. I have a lot of them. It's just that consciously, I've practiced so much, it's really fucking difficult to get a positive thought going. So that's what that does to you. And that's, again, with everything. And here's like a key thing, and that's what I discovered only recently. But is that you act, you keep repeating, you get better. That's what going from not knowing that you don't know anything, right, which is a dangerous place, to going to unconsciously competent, unconsciously knowing something, right, which is where you want to be, which is, you can train yourself with whatever you want to do. You can become a success, you can become a millionaire. Now I'm far from that, but I know one day I will be. Why? Because I'm constantly improving myself, and I know that gradually, by incrementally improving myself, I can live the life I want. And at this moment, I'm super satisfied with what I have. I'm living my dream. I'm living what I want to do. Now I'm not far, this is where I am. I used to have panic attacks. I used to be all sad, and, I used to be at a place where I didn't dare to go out of my house. But right now, I'm living the life that I wanted back then. And I know that if I can keep doing this, that I will, gradually get my $1 million business and live the life I want, be amongst the successful people, and I will get there. Mark my words. And I might fail, and I might get bankrupt, and I might, whatever. But I know that I have the persistence and the consistency to get there. And that's what that game that I just taught you is going to do with you as well. So try that. And again, I can talk about a lot of things, but if you don't do it, you will you will keep being unknown, incompetent. And that's a really dangerous place to be in. And I don't want that to happen to you, okay? That's why I make these videos, so that, interaction, and that we can share and learn from each other. I can learn a shitload of you guys, so that's why I love when you comment, that's why I love when you share, that's why I love when you like. And so let's keep doing this and try this game, get your why, take care of your body, and go to unconsciously competent. I wish you the best. This was MVDB episode 9. See you next time. Peace.